Hey guys, and welcome to another day on the shop. So today we're back on the 240. Yeah, let's get to it. All right, I got Jolly Rancher in my mouth, so excuse me from fumbling and sounding funny. They're so good. We're starting with where we left off. So we got the exhaust to do, which I actually have a list. All right, so we got exhaust. That's a big one. Intake, that's sort of there. Cold side, hot side. Intercooler is basically done. Where's my marker? I always have markers. Markers are always helpful. Whiteboards are always helpful too. Intercooler, done. Fuel rail, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Boost gauge, done. Gauge pod, not done. Wideband, done. ECU, not done. Turbo bolts, got to go get. Oil line, just got to put in once I mount the turbo, which is before here. Mount turbo. All right, so which that comes up here too. So this is no kind of order, but I think we're going to handle this. Handle motor mounts over here. I don't think we're going to handle the arms right now. The front brakes need to be handled, so they're going to be handled in this, not today. Hot side's going to be, is it cold side? Cold side's going to be done today. Hot side's going to be worked on today. Fuel rail's simple and easy. Water lines, that's complicated because I need to go get some water or some lines. Bolts got to go to the store, so when I go get those, I'll get these. Gauge pod is still on its way. ECU's not getting put in until this is all done. Fuel pump is simple and easy. I just got to get in the trunk, which isn't really difficult. I just got junk on my trunk. So, yeah, got stuff all over my trunk. I like having shelves. So, anyway, we are going to get back to this hot side. I don't know if I showed you on the last video. My intercooler ended up being too close to the frame rails. So I loosened it up, just pulled the bottom out, pushed the top up a little bit. It's solid in here. It's millimeters from the front bar, which is not good if I get hit at all, because it'll eat into the intercooler. I don't like that, but I don't plan on getting hit, hopefully. So, at least not there. I just have to retry the bumper back on it to make sure that it clears, because I did have to move it forward just a little bit. We got wire in here that we're going to have to deal with too, because that wire's got to go back over there. I want to redo this wire too. Catch can's got to be redone. Fuel rail's got to come off. Wiring's already off of it. I really want to redo all this wiring too. This thing looks janky. I might redo this front wire just whenever I get a minute. Alright. So, this one's not going to be used for right now. So, I don't know if I told you the plan before, but the way I'm going to do it is, I got a bunch of 2-inch, and I don't feel like ordering a whole bunch of crap. So, this outlet is 2-inch. The inlet to the intercooler is 2.5 inches. My only issue I have is this doohickey is, yeah, inch or 2.5. So with that being 2.5, I don't technically have a blow-off valve that I can 100% use, because I've got this step down, which is an elbow, and I'm going to have to use it somewhere. And then I've got another step down for a straight. So I can use it to step up and step down. And then I'll have to find one more to step back up, which is crazy. I don't know why I'd sit there and do that. But when you're working with free stuff, you can't go wrong. So we're going to finagle this thing together, and hopefully, just hopefully, I can make all this work. My object is I'm hoping I can steal a 2.5 inch off one of these couplers, which is probably going to be that 90 right there. And if I can steal that off here, I'll put that somewhere around here. Unless I just put the blow-off valve down here, which I'd rather it be up here, so in case water or anything else, which I shouldn't suck up any. But some intercoolers have blow-off valves down there. It just matter if it fits with the bumper, and so I don't hit anything. So if I did a straight with a 90, which I don't have enough. So, alright, I'll have to get back to y'all on this plan of attack. Alright, so, cold side. All the way through, all the way around, done. It's not going to hold a whole lot of PSI, but I'm not looking for a whole lot. So, number 2, this one. It's coming off, coming up, coming up, coming up right here to a 45, which will go around there, and then it'll go to a 90, and then another 90. So, making it work. It's not ideal because I'm not using 100% everything I have, but I'm using everything I have in hand. That makes it to where that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm using what I have, and I'm running low. So I'm using whatever I can get my hands on right now to make this work. So that's what I'm doing. The next thing is I got 2 90s to cut, and that will be the coldest side, or the hot side, excuse me. So let's get this hot side. Alright, so, yep, hot side's done. Cold side, here we are. I'm just going to 45 over here, except for the fact of I need a 90 right here, because the 90 that I have, wherever I put it, right here, kept cutting and cutting and cutting. And I can't get the coupler on because it's such a tight bend right here. So with it being a tight bend, either I need to cut back that flange and weld it, which I don't have the ability to with the welders I have. I don't have a spool gun, which I need to order, and I don't have a AC/DC TIG, so I'm stuck on that one for right now. But yeah, I got most of it done. So I just got to tighten up some clamps and adjust that down there. And so as of right now, we're at a standstill for the cold side. Now, for the hot side, or excuse me, for the hot side, we're at a standstill. Next is the exhaust. Gonna cut and weld a 3-inch piece to it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, well, in the time it took me to do everything else in the past few days, I got the fuel rail on, 370cc injectors. Got rid of the old pressure, fuel pressure regulator. Got my old school Megan that probably needs to be replaced. Took the test pipe off, cut it. It's not straight, I don't care. Cleaned it up, got my piece of exhaust tubing, which is going to butt up there and be burned in. Here's the flange as well. I cut it a little short, or a little long, so that I could have something to weld onto, and worst case scenario, I go into the flange. So I am going to weld this onto the flange and then put them back on, and then find out where the orientation is for everything, and hopefully the length is correct, because I measured up and it was almost 3 inches, so I just put it at 3 inches. Might be a little bit long, might be a little bit short. Shouldn't be short, should be long. Don't cut your stuff and be short. So we're going to weld this together real quick, and yeah, at least tack it together. So I'm going to tack it together and then put it on, and then I'll start welding everything together. So we're going very low amperage and gas MIG welder. So I'm used to using flux core, but this is going to be easier and better and come out prettier. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me get to it. Okay, everything's lined up, got everything ready to go. I'm going to clip my wire a little bit. Turn machine on, and then I'm going to blast this thing right on there. Alright, so I lied. It's not the prettiest welds, those are the best, but I'm not 100% a welder. I play, I'm a hobbyist. So it looks like they're pretty much all the way through. It's like one or two places where it's a little bit cold on the inside. But yeah, got this flange done. So I'll clean it up one more time, and then we're going to stick the test pipe on the other side, stick this back on the down pipe, and we're going to figure out where they match up, and I'll probably drag the welder around and tack it in place if I can, maybe. Yeah, and so I don't have to sit there and draw lines and try and hope it will line up the way I want it to. We'll just tack it in place, but we're going to do that with flux core, and then we'll just weld over the flux core after we clean that up. So let this cool down for a minute. Let's get this test pipe bit back on, and then we'll put this on. Alright, so placed the flange against the exhaust, pushed it back as far as I could get it, and I came out with a measurement of that line on both sides. So we're going to cut it back around that line, and then hopefully tack it in, and then pull it back out and weld it. And hopefully it works. We'll find out. Okay, well, I got it done. It's not the prettiest. This is some thin wall stuff. And yeah, that welder puts out some heat and everything else. So, but I got the O2 bung on there too, because that one doesn't fit. So I had a vibrant one. So it works. Everything looks like it's good. Like I said, it's not the greatest, but I did it. I like that. So I didn't pay anybody to do it. I did it myself. And as long as it doesn't snap off and fall off riding down the road or anything else, I'm good with it. So yeah, now we're just gonna get this on there. Let's do that. Alright, so I'm not gonna completely put that test pipe in yet, because I'm going to have to pull the down pipe off again, because I've got to mount the turbo. Once I mount the turbo in there permanently, I'll put the test pipe on there, but it's done. So we have fuel rail done, exhaust done, cold side done. We still have to do motor mounts, and I should have done that before. Got those done, and we're waiting on that gauge pod to come in, and the intake will need a new kicking my pipes. It needs a 90. This 45 is not going to cut it, because it pushes it right into the power steering pump. Once I got rid of the power steering pump, it doesn't make any sense to have it there. So yeah, we got some stuff accomplished today and the day before, but I'm going to clean up, and we're going to start on another project with this thing in a few days after I get out of work, so that we can start mounting this turbo, because that's the main thing. Mounting the turbo, and oh, I need to get a new fuel filter. Let's put that on there. Need a new fuel filter. Fuel filter. Alright. Need a new fuel filter. Okay, well, I want to thank you for joining into another episode of the shop. Yeah, stay tuned for more. If you like this content, subscribe. If you don't, sorry. So leave in the comments a suggestion of anything you want to see, or that you like, or you want more info on, and I'll do my best to get it for you. But yeah, we're going to have this thing on the road hopefully in the next week or two. I've got to order spark plug wires as well, because that one bummed out and broke. We do have spark plugs. They're on the table over there. My table's messy because of intercooler piping. And yeah, so check out Teespring, check out all the social medias. They're all listed down below, including our Patreon. Anything I used is going to be in the link in the description down below. The welder and some other stuff that I used. Check it out. I enjoy it. It's not an expensive welder. It's actually a little bit more than the Harbor Freight welder. That's the cheaper version, but it works, and I've used it MIG, TIG, or MIG and stick. I'm working on getting my lift TIG rig hooked up to it because there's a little ordeal with that. I'll talk about that in another video when I talk about the welder. So, but yes, thank you again, and until next time.